Hello, welcome to Daily News from Yazeed TV. Scholarly meetings of His Eminence Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in the holy city of Qom, Iran. The house of His Eminence Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Husseini Shirazi in the holy city of Qom in Iran continues to host scholarly meetings with the attendance of senior scholars, clerics, and public groups of believers. In these meetings, His Eminence Grand Ayatollah Shirazi answers questions about Islamic beliefs, the history of Islam, and the Islamic law from the audience. Nonviolence Incorporation calls on the Moroccan government to release prisoners of conscience. Nonviolence Incorporation Free Muslim Association published a statement in which it called on the Moroccan government to release all prisoners of conscience in this country. Here come some parts of the statement. Nonviolence Incorporation Free Muslim Association encourages the Moroccan authorities to adopt moderate policies and release all prisoners of conscience. This foundation also calls on the Moroccan authorities to respect human rights, especially in the case of protesters. Democratic principles must be upheld at all levels, and this foundation hopes that all the human and civil rights activists in Morocco can move the society towards this direction. In the end, Nonviolence Incorporation calls for transparency on the judicial processes dealing with journalists, activists, and protesters. Activities by representative of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in Holy Najaf, Iraq. Sayyid Haidar al-Hajjar, one of the representatives of His Eminence Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in the holy city of Najaf, took part in a meeting of tribal chiefs in Diwaniyah province of Iraq. During the meeting, the Grand Jurist representative relayed the messages and prayers of His Eminence. Furthermore, Sheikh Saleh al-Halfi, one of the other representatives of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in Holy Najaf, celebrated the Eid al-Fitr by donating new clothes to tens of orphan children in this city. This humanitarian work was conducted in collaboration with Misbah al-Hussein Foundation. Representative of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi meets followers of His Eminence in Azerbaijan. Sheikh Yusuf Mullah Hadi, one of the representatives of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in Kuwait, met with several followers and advocates of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi during his trip to Azerbaijan. In this trip, he congratulated the Eid al-Fitr and relayed the messages of the Grand Jurist. He also underscored educating the youth about the culture of the AhlulBayt, peace be upon them, Islamic ethics and etiquettes. Furthermore, Sheikh Mullah Hadi met with Sheikh Javeed, one of the representatives of the Grand Jurist in Azerbaijan, to discuss the latest situation of the Shia Muslims in this country. New library in Hawza founded in Mahajanga city of Madagascar. With the efforts of the Office of His Eminence Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in Mahajanga city of Madagascar, the construction of a Shia Islamic library and school named after the late Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Mohammad Husseini Shirazi was begun. The project coincided with the anniversary of the passing away of the late Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Mohammad Shirazi on Eid al-Fitr 2022. This center will be dedicated to the publication of the School of the AhlulBayt, peace be upon them, in Madagascar. Allamah bin Fahad Hilli Seminary hosts Eid al-Fitr prayers in Holy Karbala, Iraq. The Islamic Seminary of Allamah bin Fahad Hilli in the holy city of Karbala hosted the congregational prayers of the Eid al-Fitr on Shawwal 1st, 2022. This congregation was attended by groups of believers who stood behind Sayyid Mahdi Shirazi and conducted the prayers of this day. In his sermon, Sayyid Mahdi Shirazi talked about the principles of Islam and the significance of adherence to the AhlulBayt, peace be upon them. AhlulBayt Center commemorates late Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Mohammad Shirazi in Madagascar. AhlulBayt Islamic Center, affiliated to the Office of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi, held a ceremony in Madagascar to commemorate the passing away of the late Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Mohammad Shirazi on Thursday, Shawwal 3rd, 2022. The ceremony was attended by groups of Shia believers who recited the Dua Kumail, Surah Yasin, and Hadith al-Qissa. Sheikh Nasir, one of the members of the AhlulBayt Center, made a speech in this ceremony. Sayachara Center donates clothing to hundreds of orphans in Holy Karbala, Iraq. Sayachara Center, affiliated to the Office of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in Holy Karbala, donated clothing to hundreds of orphan children on the Eid al-Fitr. This humanitarian work was conducted in accordance to the orders of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi and in collaboration with Sayachara Center, based in Kuwait. More than 300 orphans received new clothing in this project. Office of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi donates aids to needy in Taweera city of Iraq.
The preaching department of the office of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in the holy city of Najaf donated charities collected on the Eid al-Fitr, also called Zakat al-Fitr, to needy and impoverished families in Tawira's city of holy Karbala. Sayyid Qasim al-Musavi, one of the representatives of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi, supervised this charitable work.